Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We are going to kick off the Finance Committee meeting for March 9th, starting with temporary resolution 3226. It's coming through Public Works. Mr. Carr.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Schoonover. This is the Arbor Valley Drive Improvement Project. We are putting this through to accept the funds from the city schools, the $500,000 that the city schools is contributing toward that, and move the other money around. But I will bring Tim Dietz up, superintendent, to go over this for us.
Good evening. Basically, as John said, we have to have legislation so we accept the donation from the schools, bring that into the fund, and then adjust several accounts that Trish says we have to adjust and make notifications of, and then reappropriate that money into one of 4 places that are going to pay for this project. So you'll see the account numbers listed. Basically, this is going to be a fast-moving project, so it's got a lot of moving parts. So once we get the money where we need to move, I have asked for 2 readings because come April, I would like everything in place so nothing holds up the progress once construction starts. Because between the time school lets out and then the new school opens, everything on Arbor Valley Drive needs to be done, from roadway improvements to bike trail realignments and sidewalk installations and storm sewer system installations, striping, the whole 9 yards. And then at the same time frame, the schools have to tear down the old building along with the vocational building and get it off-site so they can do more of their work. So the sooner the better we can get this moving. I appreciate it.
Anybody have any questions?
I actually do. Tim, thank you so much for or at least answering my questions, and then Kurt, the city engineer, addressed some of my concerns with this project. And I do want to take the opportunity to understand, recognizing that you're trying to create infrastructure improvements and walkable enhancements with limited funds and being creative and knowing the time constraints. I do feel like this is an opportunity that we need to take a closer look at the pedestrian safety and the students walking to and from.
Yep, we've talked about that.
Okay.
So.
There's opportunity, and I would really appreciate it if we could take another look at that.
Right. We will.
Thanks.
Corey. Yes.
Do we have an idea what the total cost is going to be?
The bid came in at just over $2.6 million, and between that and the the Ohio Public Works Commission grant we're getting, they're going to cover a small portion of that too. So we could, according to Jeff, the engineer, assistant engineer, it's going to be anywhere between $2.6 and $2.8 million total. Hopefully less. Hopefully less when the time comes. They said they don't need some pavement, and we don't put that down, or they don't need this, and we can take it out. So there's some things that can be non-performed, but at this point, we're not sure what they are.
Any other questions? So this piece is just accepting the city schools money. So I know we got a lot of
and it's
other.
also making some new appropriations into the proper expense line items.
I feel kind of lost because I am not on Public Works anymore, and I haven't seen the. That's my fault for not coming to the meeting, but I haven't seen. Do we have the full layout and all of the drawings and all of that stuff?
The engineers have the full set of plans. Yes.
Okay. So have we seen it yet?
We can get those to you.
Okay.
I'm sure they're.
I'm just curious because, and I'm certain that the service safety director would be super excited for me to not call every football Friday night and be like, hey, the parking's all jacked up and people are parking where they're not supposed to. Yeah.
This should fix that.
I know. I'm excited to see that. That's why I was curious. So, all right.
We'll miss your calls.
I'll still call you just so you know I'm still around.
And just so you know, there is a provision in that construction time frame where access will be maintained on the two Saturday nights for the festival concert. And supposedly there's a football game in there somewhere too, so.
Okay.
We got a lot of things to work around, but we'll get her done.
All right, sounds good, thank you. Any other questions? All right, Mr. Carr, I have 2 readings, and Ms. Smiley is your second?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, temporary resolution 3326, that's actually coming through safety, not service, as it is on the agenda. Mr. Bizjak.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, this legislation comes from the fire department. This legislation is seeking to accomplish essentially an allowance, a retroactive allowance, if you will, the fire department applying for the U.S. Department of Transportation's BUILD program. There's a grant that they have in the amount of $800,000. This funding, should the city be fortunate enough to receive it from the Department of Transportation, will actually allow the fire department to install various devices on traffic poles so that when, you know, an ambulance or a fire truck's going through the city, it can actually trigger all the lights to turn red, stop the entire intersection, and essentially allow the fire truck to, or the ambulance to proceed as quickly as possible to where they need to get and help our residents. So once again, due to the fact that this application was made earlier in February, I'm going to be requesting suspension just because of that timeline. I'm seeking to do this in one read, and you, Mr. Schoonover, will be my second.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I see the chief standing back there.
Oh.
Chief, did you want to add anything?
I have one more thing to add, Mr. Chair. Sorry, there is no local match to this. This is purely funding from the federal government. Sorry, wanted to throw that nugget out there, too. Thank you.
Okay.
That was a great summary. I'm just here if anybody has any questions.
Okay. Any questions for the chief?
I do have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Chief,
Yes, sir.
my question is, this legislation is authorizing the department to apply for the grant, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the department's already applied for it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. My question is, if the department's already applied, why do we need to rush this along if the process has already begun?
Please go ahead.
Can I address that, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
So basically, the language included in Section 1 allows you to ratify action that was already taken by City Council. But we would prefer, obviously, that you get the authorization rather than the forgiveness of City Council after the fact. And depending on the grant, he may need to supply, typically you do need to supply your authorization. I know I have to, from City Council. And so the sooner you can get that in, the more likely you are to meet all the pre-grant award conditions and therefore be considered for the actual funding. They'll just knock you out of the process if you're not. And so that's why we put it on an accelerated timeline.
Understood. Thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Cohen?
Will this 800,000 cover the entire cost of the system that you're going to put in, as far
yes.
as you know?
Yeah, the budget for the grant would be for 100% of the costs. That is to put the equipment in all our frontline first responder vehicles for the fire department. And for this grant, seeing the value in it, we also included all the police cruisers and also all the different equipment that would go in the traffic boxes, as Councilman Bizjak alluded to. It is a reimbursement grant, so we would be reimbursed 100% of the expenses due to some unique characteristics of the city of Lancaster and our census tracts and how we are eligible for the grant.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Great. All right, thank you, Chief. All right, so you're going to be asking for suspension on that one this evening.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right, temporary resolution 3426, that's coming through finance. That is me, and I will kick it over to Ms. Woody.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Similar to the fire grant, this is a grant that we just stumbled upon the day of our last meeting, and we didn't have time to get legislation in. It's a $10,000 grant through AARP. And the idea for this grant came from our city planner, Chaslin Carter, and our community development director, Michelle McCready, who had been meeting with, if you're familiar with the agency down the street, SOSL, the Center for Independent Living. One of their members was trying to get into a local downtown business, but because there was no ADA ramp, they could not actually shop in the local business. And so when we found this AARP grant, we thought it would be great to apply for portable ramps to supply for our downtown businesses, but really any business in the city that would need to use a portable ramp, we would be willing to help circulate those. So similar to the fire department, the grant was already due last week, so I talked to Finance Chair Schoonover and asked if we could please submit the grant for $10,000 to get these portable ramps and then ratify it this evening. And then, like Law Director Hall said, we will send this resolution to the AARP grant award, or the grant reviewers, so that they see that this was approved by City Council.
Okay, perfect. Any questions on that one? All
I do
right.
have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. So once this, let's say we're awarded the $10,000 grant and the ramps are purchased, who then owns the ramps? Does the city own the ramps, or do the private businesses own the ramps?
The city will own the ramps. Our plan is to work with our DDL and SID director, who's in our front row, to help us communicate with the local business owners so that they know that these ramps are available to use.
Okay, thank you. Follow up, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
My only concern is I think that if the businesses themselves are having trouble with ADA compliance and stuff like that, I believe the businesses themselves should be the ones to front the cost of the ramps. So I'm a little concerned about this, but I know that's not really a question, but more of a comment. So thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we will be asking for suspension on that one this evening as well. Temporary Resolution 3526, that's coming through Public Works, Mr. Carr.
Thank you. This legislation is to re-advertise for bids for the 6th Avenue Bridge project, as we only received one bid on that, and it was more than 20% over the original $2.4 million estimate. I can ask City Engineer Kurt Schonk to come up if there's any questions on this.
Hi, good evening. Yeah, so we advertised, as John said, and the bid came in just over 20% higher than the engineer's estimate, which means we have to rebid it. We didn't see any errors with the bid. It's just that across the board, the prices were a little bit higher than what our engineer, Prime Engineering, had anticipated. So we're trying to get out to bid quickly, as quick as we can, because the later in the year it gets, the higher the bids are going to be. That's usually how it works. So we're scrambling to get this resolution in so that we can essentially raise the estimate. I think it's $2.55 million. We went through and adjusted that estimate. Our hope is that a lot of times the bidders will withhold their bids if they know it's not going to be awarded. They don't want to show their cards. So we're hoping by increasing the estimate, we'll actually get more competitive bids and maybe get a better bid than we got the first time around. We like to stay optimistic when we can. So, but we really need to get the project done this year. We didn't want to put off the project, so we think this is our best next step for this.
I have a question. So for the $2.55 million, does that include the inspector cost, or is that in addition?
That's the construction cost.
Just the construction cost, not the inspection as
Right.
well? So
Right.
that'll be additional funds? Okay.
Mhm.
Any other questions for Kurt? No?
And this can go full 3 readings, and Mr. Bizjack will be my second.
Okay. Thank you. Temporary Resolution 3626, that's coming through Finance. That is another grant request from Service Safety Director.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This grant is for the state capital budget, and we've received the eligible project list right after our last council meeting. The grant is actually due this Thursday, so the mayor and I met with our Parks director, which Parks really was the only thing that we would have eligible on the list. So we met with the park superintendent on Friday to go through some of the projects for the parks. What we decided on was the Rising Shelter at Rising Park. It needs restoration. It's in pretty bad shape right now. The cost is going to be $500,000. That would cover the cost of the project. There would be no local funds involved with that. And I know Mr. Gatefield could not be here tonight to speak on this, but I will try to answer any questions that you have regarding the project. Again, we do not like to ask for suspension. We would much rather have 3 readings, but unfortunately, with these grants, when we find a chance, we want to grab that chance when we can. So we are asking for suspension. We understand it's a short turnaround, but if we don't apply, then we don't have a chance at getting the funds. And $500,000 to me is worth asking for suspension.
Questions?
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Service Safety Director Woody, well, do you anticipate, because I've seen how these capital budgets work. Sometimes you ask for a certain amount, but the legislature only gives you a fraction potentially. Do you see this project going forward even if we are not awarded the full $500,000 for the project?
I would say if we are not awarded the whole $500,000 for the project, it would come back to the council committee and the park board to discuss if there are any other funds for it. So I don't want to speak on behalf of Superintendent Gayfield. I don't know that he would have other funds for it, which is why we applied for this grant. So without him here, my gut says no, we would not move forward unless he knows of other funds that I'm not aware of. But that's why we chose this project, because there were no other funds available for this project.
Understood. Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll ask for suspension in the regular meeting with Mr. Ailes as my second. Temporary Resolution 3726, and yet again, another grant application. Ms. Woody.
Third time's a charm.
Yes, ma'am.
This is another capital grant. This is through Congressman Balderson, and we are looking at applying for a water line project. So originally, this is what we were hoping to do in state capital budget, but it wasn't an eligible project under state capital budget. Timing's everything. We found out just last week that we could apply for this capital budget through the federal government. This is a project that was identified actually back when Mayor Scheffler was still mayor and Paul Martin was service safety director. They were looking for funds to fund this project. It really completes the water line heading northeast on 188 toward Pleasantville. We have a line that we were trying to loop around. So it would complete that water line project that has been on our plans for 15 to 20 years. But in addition to that, it would also allow the county to tie into our services, Pleasant Township Fire Department, and Lancaster City Schools. So this is a project, again, we've been looking for funding since Mayor and I both took our positions with the city. So this is an eligible project under Congressman Balderson's capital budget. So we are hoping to apply for this grant if you are able to and willing to authorize this legislation this evening.
I have a
Ms. Smiley.
question. Is there a match for this?
There is not a match, and
Okay.
if we did not get the funding for this, 100%, the project will not go because we have no other money to do this project. That's
you.
why we've been looking for grant funds for, I think it's been at least 4 years that they've been looking for funds for this project.
Even with working with the other entities, not coming up with?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay.
It's over $4 million, so even working with the other entities, there's no way for us to fund that without this grant.
If I could, the other entities have indicated that they will contribute some share of the funds, but the project's a city project. Looping of the line or connecting of the line is one of our long-term goals. So they will benefit from it, but it's primarily to finish one of our important projects to have water coming from 2 directions in the city. So if you have water line out in one direction, you can feed water from the other direction.
Any other questions? Seeing none, we'll ask for suspension. Mr. Ailes will be my second on that one as well. I'm not aware of any other resolutions that are not on the agenda, so new ordinances, temporary ordinance 526, that is coming through finance. Law Director Hall, would you like to speak to that?
Yes, sir. Thank you. So as I informed Law Committee at our last regularly scheduled meeting, one of my assistant prosecutors has enough time in OPERS now that he can essentially retire. He's fairly young, so he doesn't intend to retire. He intends to be semi-retired, which is fortunate because right after he informed me he was going to retire in February, one of my other assistant prosecutors informed me that he would be out on FMLA for a significant period of time. And so we're running 3 courtrooms at any given time, and that only gives us 2 assistant prosecutors left to run those 3 courtrooms. But because the one assistant prosecutor is semi-retiring, he agreed to wait to push his date to leave back until June so that he can train whoever comes in and hopefully takes that position and stays there long term. So the February bar was given the last week of February. The results come in at the end of April. Most likely, we will get a newly licensed attorney. We don't typically get folks that are, more experienced or have a lot of prosecutorial experience, just based on the fact that, what we're paying is more appropriate for somebody at the beginning stages of their career. But because the one assistant prosecutor has been here longer, the goal is to hire somebody in temporarily so that he can help train that individual before he leaves. And his salary is significantly higher than the salary of the new person coming in. So the goal is to not spend any additional money because we will be saving some money when he leaves the office in June. So I asked for a bump to 4 assistant prosecutors just for a brief window of time so that we can hire and train somebody and get them up and running before my one assistant prosecutor is off on FMLA and the other one has retired. So that's the reason for that. And I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Pretty straightforward after your explanation. I like it. Thanks. Okay. That's going to be, the 3 readings is fine on that one, yes? Okay. And Mr. Solly is my second. All right, temporary ordinance 626, that's coming through Law Committee. Mr. Carr is going to introduce that one this evening.
Okay, this is a lease amendment to the property that Park National Bank sits on Memorial Drive. And given that I have read through this, but given that just became the first on this, I'm going to defer to Law Director Hall to give us some background on this.
Sure, absolutely. So back in 2001, the city had property at the intersection of Edgewood Avenue and Memorial Drive. If you recall, it's a little triangle right there across from McDonald's where the Park National Bank sits. The bulk of their parking lot and where the ATM is located is actually city property. It was canal land that was given back to the city from the state when they abandoned the canals. So it was free property for the city, but the city, knowing that it had value on Memorial Drive, chose to bid it out for lease. It was bid out for lease. A lease was executed in 2001 with the owner of Roots at the time, as well as Fairfield National Bank. I apologize. Since then, they've obviously become Park National Bank, and Roots has gone away. The lease was amended once in 2011 to reflect a longer period. Originally, the lease didn't have a fixed term. And it's my understanding, because I was not doing this then, that Park National Bank wanted a fixed lease so that they would have, they were making improvements on the property, the ATM specifically. They didn't want the lease to end in the next 3 years and then them to have to rip that ATM and all of the improvements that they were putting in on the property out. And so the city agreed to do that because there were some other benefits to the city for doing that. Well, now, since then, we have learned that the process for readjusting the lease for rent escalation, it doesn't work as smoothly or as well as we would like. So every 5 years, the service safety director is required to hire an appraiser to do an appraisal of the property. And unfortunately, it's not a cheap process. And, you know, our service safety directors, they come and go occasionally. And so, you know, it would be better if there was a process that was continuous and allowed for adjustment continuously rather than once every 5 years, and the service safety director has to remember to pay an appraiser to do that. Also, the issue for Park is they're now required to take the entire fixed term and consider it a liability on their balance sheet. And because there's 87 years left of the fixed term that was set, that results in millions of dollars, which is a change, obviously, a significant change to their balance sheet. So in exchange for giving them a shorter set term, which will be an initial term of 4 years and then 5-year automatic renewals after that, for 50 years, that's up to 2076, whereas the original lease was supposed to, or the second amendment, rather, to the lease was supposed to go to 2108. But they were satisfied with the term of 50 years. And then it'll also allow us to do a rent escalation based on CPI, which is what we typically do. The Consumer Price Index annually for all Midwest, whatever the increase is, that's what we use. Unless it's below 3%, we have a 3% floor that we use, and they were more than happy to agree to those terms. So the mayor and I have talked about this previously. The service safety director and I talked about this. Everybody was in agreement that it's probably best for all concerned to just go ahead and amend the lease for the second time in order to make those changes and fix it, make it a little better for everybody involved. Anybody have any questions?
I see none. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So we're going to do 3 readings on that one?
3 readings, and Mr. Ogg will be my second.
Okay. All right. I don't have any other ordinances on the agenda. I wasn't made aware of any when we came in, so moving on to department updates. Do we have anybody here for department updates? Ms. Bosco.
Just in time, I thought to start city council at 6:30, but, so, last year, Ohio Department of Development created a new program for housing. It's called REDD, Residential Economic Development District. And what it was incentivizing developments that are near mega projects to create workforce housing. And when they say workforce, it has nothing to do with what houses would be for sale, what the cost of houses that are for sale, or the lease rates of units. What it is to create housing in communities that are going to be heavily affected by mega projects. So and I don't know if you guys know, I didn't know till I checked out the map, we are within 20 miles of 4 mega projects. Anduril, I'm going to forget them all, Amazon in Etna, or Amazon in Pataskala, the solar panel manufacturer in Etna, and the Millersport Vantage data center site. So 4 very big projects. Actually, in January, I applied with 3 different developers. So we applied 3 different applications, and we just found out that the Casto project on Sheridan was awarded $1 million to go toward that development. And it's pretty amazing. This is $10 million program. They have now divvied it all up in the first application process, so we won't have another try for another year. They're going to put $15 million in that. 5 projects were awarded, and Lancaster is the only one in Central Ohio. And it's just, it came as a huge surprise that we actually got it. I remember quite a few times in the process of going through it thinking, why are we even doing this? We'll never get this, but we were able to do that. And like I said, we had 3 developers that had reached out and wanted to apply for this grant. So $1 million out of, 1/10 of the program is coming to Lancaster. So just wanted to share that with everybody.
Fantastic, thanks. Anyone else for department updates? Yes, ma'am.
I really don't want to have to follow that because that's such great news, but congratulations, Stephanie, and good work. My update is that we have a blood drive tomorrow at City Hall. And so if you have not scheduled time to come and give your blood, we are looking for people to help. We are down in our appointments this time, and the need is real. So if you're available tomorrow between 8:30 a.m. and 2 p.m., I would invite you, council as a whole, to come and donate blood, as well as members of the audience and our public who may be home watching. All are welcome tomorrow between 8:30 and 2 at City Hall on the second floor.
Great, thank you. I'm gonna be taking a nap from Chick-fil-A visit, so maybe not.
You could go before.
Fair enough. I'll go before. What?
Well, you got invited, that's nice.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Any other department updates besides Mr. Ailes didn't get invited? Yes, for
It's
tomorrow.
not the only one.
I know. If you think it's big enough, it would be okay.
There are 3 open spots for the Chick-fil-A event tomorrow. And Larry's name is actually
Not
on all
begging.
3.
Now Larry has to go.
I'm not begging.
This is folks that can't attend. I actually can't attend. I have our port board meeting, and Stephanie's going to be with me as well. But I truly have 3 spots available, and I'd love to make sure those are filled.
Thank you. Anyone else for department updates? Seeing none, we're moving on to meeting prep.
Yes, this evening we had on the agenda an update from Parks, but that is regarding the trees, but that's actually next month because it's Arbor Day, so please disregard that on your agenda.
Any other discussion items for finance? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I will second that, and we are adjourned at 6:32.
The regular meeting of Lancaster City Council will commence at 6:40.
The Frankie Smith Funeral Home and Crematory in Lancaster and the Johnson Smith Funeral Home in Baltimore have a long and wonderful history of serving our community. Feel free to give us a call at 740-653-0652. Stop in and see us at either of our 2 locations, 405 North Columbus Street in Lancaster and 207 South Main Street in Baltimore. Respect for tradition, regard for change.
Great automotive service is just around the corner at the Buckeye family of dealerships. Whether it's Buckeye Nissan in Hilliard, Georgesville Nissan at the Georgesville Auto Mall, Buckeye Honda of Lancaster, Buckeye Toyota of Lancaster, or Buckeye Collision Center in Hilliard. Team Buckeye services all makes and models at each location, utilizing modern practices with hundreds of years of experience, giving you peace of mind. That's how we Buckeye.
silence for the 7 service members who were killed in Iran. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I call the March 9th, 2026 Lancaster City Council meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes.
Here.
Mr. Bizjack.
Here.
Mr. Carr.
Here.
Ms. Cohen.
Here.
Mrs. Hoop. Here. Mr. Nicely.
Here.
Mr. Schoonover.
Here.
And Ms. Smiley.
Here.
Let the record reflect that 8 members of Lancaster City Council are present.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion, we excuse Mr. Sully and Mr. Ogg.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to excuse Mr. Solly and Mr. Ogg. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Now move to reading and disposing of the journal.
I have regular meeting minutes dated February 23rd, 2026.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the journal.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the journal. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Reports of city officials.
I have 5 of them. I have email dated February 12th, 2026 regarding March 12th Planning Commission meeting submitted by City Planner Chaslyn Carter. Email dated February 23rd, 2026 regarding public records request on Hocking Township submitted by Law Director Stephanie Hall. Email dated February 25th, 2026 regarding 2025 Lancaster Fire Department Annual Report submitted by Fire Chief Slade Schultz. Series of emails dated March 3rd, 2026 regarding legislative process submitted by President Jeff Porter and Law Director Stephanie Hall. And then email dated March 5th, 2026 regarding flooding near the west side of Lancaster submitted by Environmental Engineer Denise Cruz.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the reports of city officials.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the reports of city officials. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Now move to communications.
I have 2 this evening. I have email dated March 4th, 2026 regarding proposed zoning language for data centers submitted by Meg Fruth. And then mail dated March 5th, 2026 regarding liquor license for 1454 Warehouse, Inc., submitted by the Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the communications.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file the communications. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We have no special presentation or awards this evening. We have no petitions or memorials. We have now reached the time in our meeting for permission of voters and taxpayers to address council. Are there any individuals present this evening that would like to address council? If you would like to address council, please approach the podium. Please sign with your name and address, and please state that for the record. Comments are limited to 3 minutes, and you must be addressing council, not asking questions of the audience.
Alrighty, Lancaster City Council, thank you for having me tonight. I appreciate it. Please excuse me, I'm a little anxious right now. My name is Daniel Del Signor Jr. I reside at 1035 Sugar Grove Road Southeast here in Lancaster, and I am speaking tonight to ask you guys to please lift the moratorium against cannabis here in the city of Lancaster. Lancaster is losing money as we speak. Currently, every 3 to 5 minutes, the Lancasterian spends $200 in a different city on cannabis. Additionally, that tax money can be used on government buildings, schools, and other public buildings to improve the quality of our community. Additionally, Ohio is recovering from the nationwide opioid epidemic. Scientific studies show that people use cannabis to decrease opioid and other prescription drug usage, as well as alcohol usage. These studies are published in PubMed, JAMA, and other peer-reviewed scientific online journals that you can read and see for yourself. Placing a moratorium on something that 2.2 million Ohioans already voted on does nothing but take harm reduction out of the hands of Ohioans and puts it in the hands of the very entities that heavily contribute to the opioid epidemic. Additionally, it shows your constituents and the farmers of Fairfield County that you do not care about their will. This is hypocritical, as there are liquor stores in abundance on almost every street corner in Lancaster. Additionally, alcohol kills 178,000 Americans yearly and 2.2 million people worldwide. According to the CDC and DEA, cannabis has killed 0 people due to an overdose. I think society would agree that it's time to stop demonizing a non-lethal plant. If we're so concerned about the children, there would be age restrictions on beverages like Alani, Monster energy drinks, Red Bull, and charged lemonades sold down the road at Panera that were putting people in their graves a few years ago. This isn't heard of with natural cannabis, again. Please, City Council, let's focus on education regulation and the non-monopolization of the Ohio cannabis market. Let's build a future that chooses harm reduction over stigma. Let's be a shining example and show Ohio that their opinions and minds can change. Let me remind you, 52% voted yes on issue 2, 52% of Lancasterians. That is a majority of Lancasterians who voted yes on cannabis legalization in 2023. Also, let's please stop banning things or putting public moratoriums in place on things we don't understand, as that creates more interest and intrigue by young adolescents, which is what we're trying to prevent in the first place. I think that if we set up or work towards setting up a regulated cannabis market in this area of the state, we can really be a shining example of what education, regulation, and listening to the will of your constituents looks like. Additionally, studies show that in areas where cannabis use isn't banned, teen usage goes down due to much of the elimination of the black market. Teens are not going to the black market to get it anymore because they're being educated on responsible use.
You've reached your 3 minutes.
Thank
so
you.
If you could please conclude.
Yep, 100%. So I want to end by saying I pray that the city council is able to change their minds on this. I am somebody who has personally, my life has been saved by cannabis. I used to be addicted to alcohol and benzodiazepines. Since using cannabis, I have been able to graduate college, hold down multiple corporate jobs, and I work multiple jobs currently. I DoorDash. I also have worked a busing job and a greeter job at Eldorado Scioto Downs, and I am also an employee of Cardinal Health. So.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other individuals who'd like to address City Council this evening?
Good evening, Council. My name is Brian Everett, and I'm speaking today regarding both the design of streets in our city in general, and specifically with respect to the upcoming changes to Arbor Valley Drive. The proposed construction on Arbor Valley Drive must contain physical traffic calming measures to not include such simple elements on a street that combines inexperienced drivers, student pedestrians, and high-volume traffic during dusk and dark hours is a recipe for disaster. As a school board member, I field frequent communications from community members and parents, and a repeat concern expressed to me is concern over safe routes to school, specifically the speed of drivers on Arbor Valley Drive, which frequently results in near misses and loss of control of cars. Making the street wider and smoother will only make it more dangerous and, God forbid, more deadly. There has been discussion of painting, the impediment of parked cars or law enforcement presence as methods to control speed on the street. I would say paint is not infrastructure. Similar in the non-smoking areas of restaurants in days past, absent physical infrastructure, paint is just wishful thinking, and a car going even 20 or 30 miles an hour can easily travel from the street to the bike path in the blink of an eye. Vehicles will only be parked along the street in a limited number of days and times, and not when students are traveling to or from the school in the dark. I don't even believe we need the widening and the additional parking. The new parking lot at the school will add 281 spaces already. Finally, at nearly every city council meeting I attend, there's a discussion of the staffing and budget for our safety services. Building a street that requires the presence of law enforcement to be considered safe is not only lacking in design, but setting up the city for an avoidable ongoing expense. The old adage that speed kills applies here. At 20 miles an hour, 9 out of 10 pedestrians struck by a vehicle will survive. At 30 miles an hour, 5 out of 10 pedestrians struck by a vehicle will survive. And at 40 miles an hour, only 1 out of 10 pedestrians struck by a vehicle will survive. Arbor Valley Drive needs physical traffic calming measures, bump outs, raised crosswalks, speed humps, chicanes. There's a wide variety of low-cost measures that can be directly incorporated into this project and prevent injury or death to our community's children. I strongly encourage the city to avail themselves of the many resources available regarding best practices for designing complete streets that serve all community members and save money and lives. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other individuals who wish to address council this evening? Seeing none, we thank you for coming. Reports of standing committees.
I have 6 this evening. I have Law Committee meeting minutes dated February 24th, 2026, submitted by Ms. Smiley. Service Committee meeting minutes dated February 23rd, 2026, submitted by Mr. Nisley. Water Pollution meeting minutes dated March 2nd, 2026, submitted by Mr. Ailes. Finance Committee meeting agenda dated March 6, 2026, submitted by Mr. Schoonover. Finance Committee meeting minutes dated March 6, 2026, submitted by Mr. Schoonover. And Public Works Committee meeting minutes dated March 9th, 2026, submitted by Mr. Carr.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to receive and file the reports of standing committees.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file reports of standing committees. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Reports of special committees.
There are no reports this evening.
We have no public hearings, so we will move on to the reading of resolutions, beginning with the third reading of temporary resolution 2326.
A resolution to increase receipts, appropriate from the unencumbered balance, amend the certificate with the county auditor in the .45 Police and Fire Levy Fund 2047 for CPT state grant reimbursement. This is through Safety Committee, Mr. Bizjack and Mr. Schoonover.
Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 23-26.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 2326. Any discussion, Councilmember Bizjack?
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, I just would like to remind council that this is a piece of legislation seeking to accept reimbursement in the amount of about $95,225 from the Ohio Attorney General's office. Once again, there's a 2-year delay to this, but these funds can also be used to help offset some CPT training that our current police department utilizes as well. So that's all I have to say, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisley?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Temporary resolution 2326 passes 8-0. We now move on to the second reading of resolutions, beginning with temporary resolution 2526.
A resolution to authorize all actions necessary to accept a Northeast Ohio Public Energy Council 2026 Energized Community Grant. This is through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Ailes.
Councilmember Schoonover.
Second of 3 readings, please.
Second of 3 readings on temporary resolution 2526. Temporary resolution 2726.
A resolution to increase and decrease appropriations in the Water Revenue Fund 6003 to cover a shortfall in the retirement benefits account. This is through Water Pollution Control Committee, Mr. Bizjack and Ms. Cohen.
Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will be the second of 3 readings.
Second of 3 readings on temporary resolution 2726. Temporary resolution 2826.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to enter into a contract for the construction of Frederick Street Sewer Separation Project. This is again through Water Pollution Control Committee, Mr. Bizjack and Ms. Cohen.
Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will stand as the second of 3 readings.
Second of 3 readings on temporary resolution 2826. Temporary resolution 3026.
A resolution to authorize a then and now certificate for payment of an AEP electric bill for the street lighting in the General Fund 1001 and to declare an emergency. This is through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Ailes.
Councilmember Schoonover.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the third reading of temporary resolution 3026.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the third reading of temporary resolution 3026. Any discussion on the motion to suspend?
I don't have any.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisley?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to suspend passes 8-0. Councilmember Schoonover.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon written record a temporary resolution 3026.
Second.
A motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record, temporary resolution 3026. Any discussion? Councilmember.
I do not.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Temporary resolution 3026 passes 8-0. Move to temporary resolution 3126.
A resolution to increase and decrease appropriations in the General Fund 1001 to cover a uniform allowance for a recent promotion within the Lancaster Fire Department and to declare an emergency. This is through Safety Committee, Mr. Bizjack and Mr. Aug.
Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. This will stand as the second of 3 readings.
Second of 3 readings on temporary resolution 3126. We'll now move to first readings, beginning with temporary resolution 3226.
A resolution to increase receipts appropriate from the unencumbered balance, amend the certificate with the county auditor in the LDOT Improvement Fund 3014 to amend the certificate of appropriations and appropriate from the unencumbered balance in the General Improvement Fund 3016 and the 3 Mill Street Levy Improvement Levy Fund 2009 for funding of the Arbor Valley Drive Improvement Program and to declare an emergency. This is through Public Works Committee, Mr. Carr and Ms. Smiley.
Councilmember Carr.
Nothing to add other than what was presented in finance. We will go 2 readings on this and move for suspension next meeting.
So first of 2.
First of 2 readings.
Thank you very much. First of 2 readings on temporary resolution 3226. Temporary resolution 3326.
A resolution authorizing the Lancaster Fire Department to apply for the Butter Utilizing Investments to Leverage Development Grant Program through the U.S. Department of Transportation and to declare an emergency. This is through Service Committee. Nope, I
Safety.
apologize. Through Safety Committee, Mr. Bizjack and Mr. Schoonover.
Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third reading for temporary resolution 33-26.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3326. Any discussion on the motion to suspend?
Just repeating what I said in the Finance Committee, which was once again due to the tight timeline that we need to have all this paperwork in by. That's why I'm asking for suspension. That's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3326 passes 8-0. Councilmember Bizjack.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 33-26.
Second.
A motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3326. Any further discussion?
Nothing further from Finance. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. From Safety.
Well, when I talked about in Finance, I have nothing further to add than
Okay.
what I discussed in
All right.
Finance.
Thank you.
Sorry.
All right, no problem. Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to pass. Temporary resolution 3326 passes 8-0. Temporary resolution 3426.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to apply for the 2026 AARP Community Challenge Grant Program and to declare an emergency. This is through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Ailes.
Councilmember Schoonover.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third readings of temporary resolution 3426.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3426. Any discussion, Councilmember Schoonover?
We discussed during finance, this is just to get this paperwork approved through council.
Thank you. Any further? Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
No.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3426.
fails. No, it fails. We have 2 members out and 1 voted no.
Okay.
Okay. We'll now move on to temporary resolution 3526.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to re-advertise for bids and enter into a contract for construction of the East 6th Avenue Bridge over Fetters Run replacement project and to hire a consultant to provide construction inspection services and to declare an emergency. This is through Public Works Committee, Mr. Carr and Mr. Bizjack.
Councilmember Carr.
Nothing further to add to this. This is the first of 3 readings, and Mr. Bizjack will be my second.
First of 3 readings on temporary resolution 3526. Temporary resolution 3626.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to apply for the Ohio 136 General Assembly Capital Budget Community Project and to declare an emergency. This through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Ailes.
Councilmember Schoonover.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third readings of temporary resolution 3626.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third readings of temporary resolution 3626. Any discussion?
No.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Mrs. Cohen?
Yes.
Sorry, Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3626 passes 8-0. Councilmember Schoonover.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3626.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3626. Any further discussion?
I don't have any.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3626 passes 8-0. Temporary resolution 3726.
A resolution to authorize the Service Safety Director to submit a fiscal year 2027 community project fundings request through Congress Troy Balderson and to declare an emergency. This is through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Ailes.
Councilmember Schoonover.
Yes, Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council suspend its rules and waive the second and third readings of temporary resolution 3726.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3726. Any further discussion on the motion to suspend?
I don't have any.
Thank you. Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
And Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Motion to suspend the rules and waive the second and third reading of temporary resolution 3726 passes 8-0. Councilmember Schoonover.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion that council pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3726.
Second.
A motion and a second to pass, engross, and enter upon the written record temporary resolution 3726. Any discussion?
No, thank you.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Ailes?
Yes.
Mr. Bizjack?
Yes.
Mr. Carr?
Yes.
Ms. Cohen?
Yes.
Mrs. Hoop?
Yes.
Mr. Nisely?
Yes.
Mr. Schoonover?
Yes.
Ms. Smiley?
Yes.
Temporary resolution 3726 passes 8-0. We now move on to the reading of ordinances. We have no third readings. We begin with second reading of temporary ordinance 4-26.
An ordinance authorizing the mayor to grant 4 permanent supplemental easements to the Ohio Power Company necessary for the construction and maintenance of electric facilities and to declare an emergency. This is through Law Committee, Ms. Smiley and Mr. Carr.
Councilmember Smiley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Second of 3 readings.
Second of 3 readings on temporary ordinance 4-26. We now move on to first reading, beginning with temporary ordinance 5-26.
An ordinance to amend permanent ordinance 63-25, the management pay ordinance to add an assistant prosecutor position for a limited period of time and declare an emergency. This through Finance Committee, Mr. Schoonover and Mr. Sully.
Councilmember Schoonover.
First of three readings.
First of three readings on temporary ordinance 5-26, temporary ordinance 6-26.
An ordinance authorizing the Service Safety Director to execute a lease amendment with Park National Bank and to declare an emergency. This through Law Committee, Mr. Carr and Mr. Ault.
Councilmember Carr.
First of three readings.
First of three readings on temporary ordinance 6-26. That concludes the reading of ordinances this evening. We have no tabled legislation. Is there any unfinished business for council members? Hearing none, we'll now move to new business. I believe that the liquor permit that you had mentioned in correspondence received, that we are waiting to deal with that pending further review. Is that correct, Law Director Hall?
Sure, yes, we'd like some additional information from law enforcement prior to moving forward with that, so I'd appreciate it if you all would just hold on that for the moment.
We will
Thank you.
hold on that particular action. We'll now move to updates from council members through their committees. We'll begin with Councilmember Bizjack this evening.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, there's not really much to update here from the Safety Committee because most of the legislation we talked about in the Safety Committee has been passed in the last two meetings. So at this point, I have no new updates.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Cohen.
Administrative services, we met in February. We haven't had much legislation other than the NOPEC energy grant from the city. But at the meeting, Mark Starr introduced his department, gave an overview of all their projects and updates on responsibilities and the people. Everyone was there. I'm not going to go into all the different responsibilities. The one I wanted to mention that Dave Farlow, who's responsible for our fiber network, was very excited to discuss how important our fiber is to not only the city, but also to other organizations that use our fiber network, which I thought was really interesting because I didn't realize that. And at the same time, we discussed how those organizations compensate the city for that use. It's not like we give it away free. The other thing that was interesting to me, Scott Snyder, the manager of GIS, talked about his department, which impacts every single city department out there. It's amazing what they do. And he talked about his drone that they recently bought and the person that runs it, and how helpful it's been in terms of helping to identify problems on city buildings where maybe there was damage and no one has to climb up there. And also the community development department can more easily work with applicants for the roof replacement program. It makes it easier for them to evaluate that. And then finally, Danielle in HR discussed the continued success of the medical and mental health clinics, as well as how well we're doing on our workers' comp that we were recently highlighted in an article released by Sedgwick, who is our managed care organization. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Ailes.
Nothing new to report.
Thank you. Councilmember Smiley.
The Law Committee met on February 20th, and we had a special guest with Jennifer Sitterly, who is the Greenfield Township trustee, who came to us with possible partnership agreements between the city and the township for not only for just awareness, but also consideration for the buffer zones and rezoning in the future. But the mayor did confirm that there was nothing imminent happening there. We had the law director's budget updates and staff updates, which we've been working through with the new prosecutor and hiring starting in March. The law director corrected misinformation posted publicly on social media from an elected official regarding the Violence Against Women Act funding requirements, which was informative. And then we also have this upcoming legislation with AEP that we were working through. So our next meeting is February 17th at 12:30 in the Main Street 1897 conference room. And then I want to take the opportunity to publicly acknowledge the wonderful public presentation done by our community development department on Thursday, where they were talking about the housing assistance program, and they did a great job of explaining what was available and the fact that they were able to give resources to those organizations. It was very informative, and I wanted to thank them for that. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Schoonover.
You guys all get to join in the fun and finance every 2 weeks when we're here, but I did want to stress with everyone so new, and even for non-new members, I mean, the budgets of every department is a huge undertaking. You know, last year during budget time, it was, you know, hey, make sure that as your committee chairs, we want you to be the expert of your committee, so they should be the idea, and I spoke to the SSD and the mayor about making sure that your department heads, when you're having your committee meetings, that they're bringing their budget. So like you had stated, Kate, the law director brought hers, we went over that. So that way there really aren't any surprises. You know, the year's gonna go really fast. We're already in March. So really, I feel like there's always something new to learn. And, you know, when it's coming to finance and we kind of get together with all this new legislation, you know that you're going to be able to speak to it, because there's just a lot going on. So I commend everybody with their updates. I mean, 5 new people at one time is you never know what you're going to get. And, you know, everybody's been putting in the work and always available to chat for sure.
Councilmember Carr.
Well, first of all, I still don't know what you're going to get from me, so anyway. The last Public Works Committee meeting was February 20th. I will touch on just a few of the highlights from the LDOT department update. The snow removal from the last major snowstorm, had an opportunity to go out on one of those trucks, and spend on that was $93,000 with 1,090 man hours, which I'm sure did not count my 4 hours and whatever time Elena or anybody else spent in the truck. There are 6 new plows in process of being purchased. Budget for that was at $16,000. Initially, the thought was they were going to run about $18,000 with an over 400-day lead time. They now have those purchased with a 180-day lead time, so we'll have them in time for next year at $14,000 each, so a cost savings of $2,000 per plow. I also have a new appreciation for how hard it is to find people to mow cemeteries. So the contract for the Maple Grove and Forest Rose cemeteries is at $185,000, budgeted at $150,000, so working to overcome a $35,000 deficit there. However, also on the cemetery side, the replacement of their 2008 F-550 dump truck that is being transferred to LDOT will come in under budget by $22,000 at $108,000. At a high level, some of the legislation we talked about tonight being the Arbor Valley project and the street improvement program, those bids are in, those bids are awarded and ready to go, and then we have the delay on the 6th Avenue Bridge construction with putting that back out to bid.
Thank you for your update. Councilmember Nisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Service Committee met on February the 12th. We heard from all the departments, the Parks, Sanitation, Utilities Collection, and the Gas Department. Particularly with the Parks Department, we discussed a variety of issues, including an update to Bowers Park, and the Miller Park redevelopment update, which we worked on legislation already in previous councils to address that, phase 1 of that issue. We also discussed the possibility of future legislation that the Parks Department may be pursuing regarding a maintenance shop. So we talked about that. The Sanitation Department provided us their revenue and expense reports, so that was very helpful. The Utilities Collections Office, there's a lot of exciting things going on with the Utilities Collections Office in regards to in regards to e-checks, which I know was a big thing, ACH payments, those auto pay payments for your utilities. and including the brand-new notification system that's been working out very well. I know I've gotten plenty of updates that have been very helpful. We also discussed a variety of different issues, including renters and multifamily units to see their usage, which I think was very, very helpful information. And then discussion on easier transfer of services from one city address to another. In regards to the municipal gas department, we talked about all the work they have done over the last year and a half or so on their main replacement project. Lots of different stuff they have done, and it was incredible to hear about how under budget they came and getting all that work done. We talked about some of the volatility in the gas costs with the super cold snap that we experienced back in January. The smart meter pilot program was discussed, as well as cost savings over private utilities like Columbia Gas. So overall, we had a very good council meeting, and looking forward to our next one, which will be in May. I don't recall the day, but it'll be in May. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilmember Hoop.
Thank you, Mr. President. I chair economic development, and we don't have a lot of updates. However, I would suggest, if anyone is interested, the housing study is online on the Port Authority's website under Live, Work, Play, and then you click under Live, and you can check out the housing study that was done last year. And my next meeting is April 30th. It's a Thursday at 7:30 in the morning.
Thank you. We'll now move on to the announcement of scheduled meetings.
I have next regular sessions of council, March 23rd, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. here in council chambers. And then April 6th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. in council chambers here.
We have no special scheduled meetings, regularly scheduled committee meetings.
I have 4 of them for the next coming month. I have Safety Committee, April 3rd, 2026 at 8 a.m. in an 1897 conference room in City Hall. Water Pollution Control Committee, April 10th, 2026 at 7:30 a.m. in an 1897 conference room, City Hall. Law Committee meeting, April 17th, 2026 at 12:30 p.m. in the 1897 conference room in City Hall. And then finally, Economic Development meeting, April 30th, 2026 at 7:30 a.m. in the 1897 conference room in City Hall.
Reading of bills.
I have one for $65.78 for publication of ordinance, permanent ordinance 3-26.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to pay the bill.
Second.
A motion and a second to pay the bill. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. We have no need for an executive session this evening. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, I'd like to make that motion. We adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Please remember to stay and sign your legislation this evening. Thank you.